Hi everybody, Angel Arts here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. We finished doing a great bit of interrogation here at the Moon something street. Something. It's been a few days since I last played, guys, so I'm trying to get to the bottom of things. Hey again, Wiggins. Wiggins.
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he alright?
I did, and there's several things that I need to do on my list. Like, go and search my archives, and then I have to go back to Scotland Yard and talk to your bro. So we're gonna do just that. Go back to Baker Street. I'm wondering how long this final episode, or this final mystery is going to be. The plant one seemed to go a lot longer than I anticipated. It gave me some fake out, we're close to the end moments. Okay, we need to go to the archive to look up the ancient bracelet. Right. An antique golden bracelet that was found in Mr. Turner's flat. It is decorated with distinctive ram heads. Search for the bracelet. Chemistry. Poisons and toxins, wounds, criminal addicts. Martial arts, marks and symbols. Religious symbols. Skull and crossbones, London garden supplies. Newspapers. We don't have a date, so I don't know if we're going to find any newspapers. Economic science, technology, history, medicine, botany. Huh. Would the newspapers have anything? Distinctive ram heads. Hellenistic treasures stolen. Flying lobsters. I just want to read. I want to kind of just read about the flying lobsters. The Adventures of the Copper Beaches. Royal. No. Great Blizzard. Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Uganda Deputies. Chemistry, poison toxins, wounds and injuries, criminalistics, martial arts, marks and symbols, religious
That
symbols.
is not the one I need.
Rod of Asclepius. That's not the one he needs. Art and architecture. The work of Edward Armitage. Come on, antique bracelet. How would I know about antique bracelet? Prussian ancient Egypt. Medicine, botany. Huh. I don't know, guys. And I can't exit. I can't go back to my code book, my case book. That's the annoying part. An antique bracelet that was found in Mr. Turner's flat. It's decorated with distinctive ram heads. I didn't see anything that could help me with ram heads or brass or golden bracelet. I'm about to click everything. I'm gonna start clicking on everything at this point because there's nothing in here that I see.
That is not the one I need.
Brazil, naval Cleveland, Sindel, explosion, blizzard, Utopia, London, Paris, picture of Dorian Gray, East Africa, explosions at Combs. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Research, newspapers, and encyclopedias. Yeah, I don't. psychology, forensics, preserving footprints,
That is not.
anthropomorph. Yeah, whatever.
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need.
Well, which one is it?
That is not the one I need. That is not the one. That is not the one.
I'm so losing a lot of points for this.
That is not the one I need. That is.
Oh, finally. Finally. These beautiful antique jewels represent a part of the Hellenistic treasures collection. How was I supposed to know that based on this description? Depicted are the 5 heads of mountain rams upon a bracelet, necklace, and ring, each made of pure gold. The 5 rams of Mytilene have been missing from the museum since 1885.
Here it is.
Interesting.
I need to continue my research in my archives.
1885. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. 1885, because we have an actual date. Hellenistic treasure. See, didn't I click on this? I clicked on this before. The Strand, a treacherous theft. The Hellenistic treasures were stolen yesterday evening while being transported by cab on their way from the British Museum to the Glassford Fine Art Exhibition. Pawn shop owner Kenneth Butler contacted Scotland Yard that night and provided information regarding a gentleman who had attempted to sell him a collection of historical art at his pawn shop in Church Street. The police have since captured the described man, a professional thief by the name of Vincent Foley, who had been in the process of escaping London via the port. He was recognized by the surviving driver of the cab that had transported the collection of Hellenistic treasures. Vincent Foley refused to confess as to where the remainder of the treasures were hidden. He was eventually imprisoned. The lost treasures are still to be found.
Here it is.
Until now.
One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Why don't we do that? Treacherous theft. Find a use. A metal door taken from the dead body of Kenneth Butler. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's go to the pawn shop before we go to Scotland Yard. I want to collect as much as I can before talking with our little friend. Wow, we've got a lot of stuff. Leighton statements. Leighton Chapman stated that he saw a person leaning over a dead body just as he entered the scene. Leighton took a gun from the body and set off on a pursuit of the man, but was blinded by a flash of bright light. Leighton Chapman is the only person who was seen entering Half Moon Street after Brian Vercotti and Kenneth Butler. He was seen standing over the dead bodies and escaping the crime scene shortly afterwards. Long lost art. The collection of Hellenistic treasures was stolen from the British Museum in 1885. It has not been found since it is considered to be lost. Leighton Chapman had nothing of any value in his possession when he was caught by the police directly after the crimes. Two different shots. Simultaneous shots. Turner could hear the contrast between 2 fired shots, as in fact 3 shots were made. Really? At first, a single shot was fired, and then 2 guns fired simultaneously directly afterwards. Interesting theory. Turner could hear the contrast between 2 different fired shots, as they were made from different points in Half Moon District. I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea. I'm gonna come back to that. Interesting. Good. Well, during the time that it took for us to travel, very good. We've made our way to the pawn shop. Are they gonna even be open this late at night? What are you doing, sir? That's very suspicious. Are you drunk, sir? Too much partying at the tavern, I see. At Ballard's Pint? That sounds about right. Butler's Pawn Shop. Are we just gonna break into Butler's Pawn Shop? Oh, poor guy down on his luck. No, he's... Am I gonna break in? Oh.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
Convenient. Yeah, we're breaking and entering. Never mind the fact that we have a key. Snoop, 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 Sherlock. Is there nothing here? Maybe I'll come back to that. Come back to that. Shelves.
A flare pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor.
Object of interest. Counter. Necklace.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 Rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
But why? But why? Hello, Kenneth. I remember you once told me about 3 pieces of gold and jewelry with ram heads from ancient Greece. You still got them, right? Well, good news for you. I found a man loaded with money who's crazy about those jewels. He's ready to fork out a small fortune. I can arrange a meeting with his money bag for you, but I want you to cut me in on the deal. I'll be waiting for you at the crossing of Great Alley and Half Moon Street on Sunday evening before the fireworks. Brian Vercotti. Aha! Someone was trying to cut a deal. And that was probably what happened. They were trying to cut a deal,
It looks as though Mr.
bang.
Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Okay. Is there anything else? I mean, it's just the flare gun, right? That's it, right? Flare pistol, which we might have to come back for later.
A flare.
Yes. Brian Verscotti. What's his name? Check the shelf one more time. I didn't see anything. Is there really nothing here for me to interact with yet? Oh, there it is.
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer.
Okay. Alright, I'm not sure what that is supposed to do with us, but alright. Let's go back to Scotland Yard, because I need to talk to our suspect about the tattoos. Did he know that one gentleman? Because if he did, that could lead us to more clues and get us to the bottom of this mystery. Don't you agree, Watson? Of course you agree.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
So,
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
true.
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
Is that really
You
the
were
reason?
willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Turnips limp. Turner's contradiction, door key, antique bracelet, the Westgate prisoners.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You
Yep.
knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Should have been straight with me. Should have told me the truth earlier. This is not helping your case at all.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
Which is
And
admirable.
Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
We need another lead. Brian Vercotti is an old acquaintance of Leighton Chapman. They were both in prison for robbery while still young men, but their paths diverged after their release. Old acquaintances. Brian Vercotti and Kenneth Butler were both found shot in the dark and narrow Half Moon Street, which is located between Great Alley and Whitechapel Street. Butler's jewels. Kenneth Butler took a bracelet and possibly a ring from the ancient jewel set, the 5 rams of Mytilene. He was arranging a deal with Brian Vercotti that would be discussed at Half Moon Street. The search for the missing Hellenistic treasures could be the motive for the crime that was committed in Half Moon Street. Mr. Turner picked up the bracelet directly after the murder, but the ring is still missing. Latent statements. 2 victims, old acquaintance, common statement. Long lost art. The collection of the Hellenistic treasures was stolen from the British Museum in 1885. It has not been found since then and is considered to be lost. I'm not doing so well. Lootless. The search for the missing Hellenistic treasures could be the motive, personal motive. The violent crime committed in Half Moon Street by Leighton Chapman could have had a personal motive. Could have. I'm gonna speak this for now. Simultaneous shots, firing position. I don't know, I'm gonna lean on that for the time being. Okay. Now let's see. Do we have another lead? Not sure if we do. 2 ram heads. Jailed thief Vincent Foley, who committed the infamous robbery of the Hellenistic treasures, was imprisoned 10 years ago. The treasures have remained undiscovered to this day, although we found the bracelet, the necklace, and we still need the ring. Okay. Ryan Turner.
Mr. Holmes?
Can I make any more latent statements? No. Long lost art. Two victims. I'm like running out of... Oh, here we go. Compelling evidence. The witness testimonies and the crime weapon clearly point to one possible culprit, Leighton Chapman. Leighton Chapman committed a double murder at Half Moon Street. His motive was the theft of ancient and valuable treasures. The last piece of the 5 rams of Mytilene, the ring with the ram head, still remains lost. Despite committing murder, Leighton is a young, albeit foolish and impressionable man. His younger brother, Wiggins, would be completely left alone. Leighton's sentence will be shortened. Leighton Chapman may be young, but he is already a vicious murderer. Condemned Chapman. Leighton Chapman may be young, but he is already a vicious murderer who committed his crime to obtain jewels. He deserves a life imprisonment. I think there's more to this story. Okay, let's try simultaneous shots. Goes against the double murder. Goes against the imaginary man. We need to find more evidence. That's not enough. Clues. Long lost art. We need more clues. We haven't found everything. What else is left? There was a possible crossfire between Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti at Half Moon Street. Examine the dead bodies and perform a reenactment. Okay, because I'm not ready to throw the book at Leighton just this moment. Come along, Watson. It's time for us to play again. Did they leave the bodies here? Are the bodies still... Now what?
What's up with you,
Wiggins.
lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Still circumstantial. It hasn't been proven yet. One of the bodies was already taken. Oh no, both bodies are still here. Imagination. Select the gunman. One of the victims possibly fired his gun. Oh. Let's say it was this guy first. Interesting. Fired in his head. 2 shots. Then something would have hit here.
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
That one. Let's see if we see anything on this wall that suggests
This should be useful.
that the gun was fired from that man. Do we see anything? Ah!
This is most definitely a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh.
Which means it must have been... Yes.
Watson, there was a 3rd shot fired in this street.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I don't think we will end up finding anything there.
I'll do anything to save my brother, Mr. Holmes.
And I'm trying to prove his innocence, assuming he is innocent. I don't think, as much as I love Wiggins, if we were truly, doing our job right, we cannot completely discount Leighton as the culprit. Yet, it's possible that he did it. I hope he isn't, that he didn't do it, but we need to continue on with the case and not rule him out completely. 3rd shot. A bullet hole found in a wall at Half Moon Street proves the event of a 3rd shot. Bullet hole. So that means the two simultaneous shots were probably correct. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti both died of a crossfire, with each of them holding a gun. One of the guns is now missing. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti were the victims of a double murder carried out by one person. Double murder. There's a lot of conflicts here. Leighton Chapman. It still goes back to Leighton Chapman. Crossfire. Firing position. Simultaneous shots. Personal motive. Burglary motive. Alright, I don't think we have enough. Gotta think of something else. We need another lead. Oh gosh, this is tough. Still need more things. Long lost art. Third shot. Latent statements. Disappearing man. Leighton Chapman's statement regarding the jacketed man who disappeared at Half Moon Street now seems reasonable, as the 3 shots at the crime scene prove the presence of a second gun that is now missing. Alright, we need to do something about the disappearing man now. Reenact Marrow's pursuit with a lamp. Okay, talk to Constable Marrow and find out if they could have... It would have been possible to miss someone hiding in the shadows of Half Moon Street at the time of the crime. I think I'm going to do that in the next video, guys. So thank you for watching, and until next time, love yourselves and love each other.